Hello students, here I am going to discuss this numericals based on the pendulum, that is your second chapter in 9th standard, and in previous lecture we read about the first three numerical problem, and in this lecture we will solve next numerical problems. And what is your numerical problem on the board? Find the length of a second pendulum. Length of second pendulum. Second pendulum means time period of pendulum is 2 seconds. At a place where G is equal to 10 meter per second square and value of pi is 3.14. We have to determine the length, and time period of this pendulum is given. That time period is 2 seconds because pendulum is your second pendulum. So what is the formula of time period? Formula of time period of pendulum is 2 pi under root L upon G. We have to determine the value of L. So to cancel the square root, squaring both sides, t square, square of 2 is 4, then pi square under root L whole square, that is L upon G. So here what is the value of L? Value of L is t square into G upon 4 pi r square. So with the help of this formula we can determine the length of second pendulum. So what is the length of second pendulum? Put the time period. Time period of second pendulum is 2 seconds. So here 2 square into value of G. Value of G is 10, then 4 into value of pi. This is the value of pi, that is 3.14 square, and your length is equal to 4 into 10 upon 4 into 3.14 square, and square of 3.14 is 9.84. So this is a cancellation of 4, 10 as it, and this is your 10 upon 9.84. This is the length, and after solving this become 1.01. This become 1.01 meter, and length of second pendulum is 1 meter. Please remember this, that length of second pendulum is approximate 1 meter and time period of second pendulum is 2 seconds. Because there is MCQ in your book Selina Publication, that what is the length of the second pendulum. What is the length of second pendulum? Length of second pendulum is exact is 1.01 meter, and approximate that length of second pendulum is 1 meter. And time period, what is the time period of second pendulum? Time period of second pendulum is 2 seconds. Your next numerical is compare the time period of two pendulum, clear, of length 1 meter and 9 meter. Here we compare the time period. Time period को compare करना है यहाँ पे. First pendulum की length given है, clear, that is L1 is equal to 1 meter. Second pendulum की length given है, that is 9 meter, and suppose time period of first pendulum is T1 and time period of second pendulum is T2. To compare the time period, that is we have to determine the ratio of T1 and T2. So what is your formula? That is 2 pi under root L upon G. This is the time period. 2 pi is constant. Here G is also constant. So T is directly proportional to L. So for first pendulum, time period is directly proportional to L1, and for second pendulum, time period directly proportional to L2. So divide both the term. So this dividing 1 with 2, that is T1 upon T2 is equal to under root L1 upon L2. So if G is constant, in that case you can directly use this formula. If G is constant, in that case you can directly use this formula. Then you have to determine the ratio of time period. that is compare the time period. So T1 upon T2, put the value of L1 and L2. L1 is 1 and L2 is your 9. So after solving this is your 1 upon 3. So therefore your T1 upon T2 is equal to 1 upon 3 and this T2 is equal to 3 into T1, or the ratio of T1 and T2 is 1:3. The ratio is 1:3, or time period of second pendulum is 3 times the time period of first pendulum. Clear? Yes students, your next numerical is a pendulum complete 2 oscillation in 5 seconds. Clear? And you have to determine what is its time period. First you have to determine the time period of pendulum, and after determining the time period of pendulum, find the length of pendulum. Clear? So first determine the time period of pendulum. To determine the time period of pendulum, 2 oscillation in 1 second. 2 oscillation completed in 5 seconds. Therefore, 1 oscillation, time for 1 oscillation, that is 5 upon 2 second, and this is your 2.5 second. This is your 2.5 second, and time for 1 oscillation, that is the time period. Time for 1 oscillation, that is your time period. That's why we determine the time for 1 oscillation. So to determine the time period, here we determine the time for 1 oscillation, that is the time period. So therefore time period here is 2.5 seconds. So this is your time period. Now find the value of length. Find the length of this pendulum. So what is the length of pendulum? The time period is 2.5 second. 2.5 second. To determine the length, so what is the formula of time period? T is equal to 4 pi under root L upon G. Again squaring both sides, that is, this is your 2 pi. Square of 2 is 4, then pi square, and square of under root L upon G, that is L upon G. So here L is equal to T square into G upon 4 pi square. Put the value of time period. What is the time period? That is 2.5 whole square into value of G. The value of G here is, that is 9.8. Not given. Okay, then this 4 as it pi square, value of pi is 3.14 and square of 3.14 is 9.85. 9.85. Therefore after calculating this, 25 into 25, 625, that is 6.25 into 9.8 and 4 into 9.85, and approximation there is a cancellation. Clear? And if we divide this, then what is the value? That is 4 1 4, then 2 5.55, and this is the length in meter. This is the length of the pendulum. Clear? So here we determine the first time period of pendulum and then determine the length of pendulum. Okay students, thank you.